Excellent. All right. Oh, so welcome to August 2021 with Ignite and Heal. Are you ready? Show. So today I'm very blessed and honored to have a precious guest and a dear friend in a soulmate, a soul friendship. I guess you'd call soul family. Being here, Orion Centaurus. He's a researcher, an investigator, a counselor, a musician, an ascended master, and an energy worker. So welcome, Orion.
Hi, Mary. Thank you again for having me back. It's always an honor to be here with my special family member of the spirit group that we travel with, and that's always an honor.
Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. Whew, so I know a lot's coming through us, and I can already feel it in my spirit, or whatever we're meant to share and offer for all those who are listening, whether it's at the time that they first listen now or to any time that they come. So this will be recorded, which is beautiful, and it's going to be in the perfect timing when someone's meant to hear this message. So I'd love to share, I know even how we got connected, and the gifting of PSYCH-K. So PSYCH-K has been a tremendous gift for me, and I know for you too, for helping us remember who we are here, which is very beautiful, and to transform those conditioned beliefs of the things we thought we were where we actually aren't, or any limiting beliefs that held us back from our powerful light and love essence that we truly are here. So Orion, if you would love to, even just begin, and whatever's meant to come through you, I think this is how we're meant to proceed.
Absolutely. So, well, it started a little over a year ago when I met Mary, and I met Mary through a friend of mine. It was quite amazing, the experience, very synchronistic, just the way a lot of things have been in my life since the very inception. It's just recognizing the synchronicities that make it beautiful and special. So when I actually connected with Mary, I got this feeling that it was more spiritually, and certainly it panned out to be true. Upon that connection, it was actually through PSYCH-K. A friend of mine was taking it in the city of Toronto, and she just had really, really beautiful things to say about her instructor. So I certainly wanted to, after the initiation of the COVID sequence, wish to reconnect with her, because I felt the transition of the time and the energy that was existing within that transition. It was essential for me to reconnect with those who were part of my soul group in order to form that bond, reconnect, and empower each other to continue the next phase in this world of the new age that was approaching and the old age that was collapsing. So upon reconnecting with her, it was just an immediate send off. It was just like fireworks at the very beginning. It was just really, but in a good way. We just really reconnected. It was like finding a piece of yourself that was missing. And so we really, there was just so many topics on my mind, and Mary has such wonderful gifts. And she allowed me to explore these things because of the kindness of her heart. I guess she was very curious to see who I was and how we were so connected. So as those of you who are listening are familiar with Mary, she's a one-of-a-kind spirit and soul, and very helpful, and always there to try to help others reach their new levels in life. She's there to help uplift you. Absolutely tremendous. So with me, I didn't really need so much uplifting at that time, more than I had so many answers that her abilities were very much helping me to explore and receive the answers to. So my life has been rather extraordinary. Upon finding out a lot of these answers, then I started to realize that I was getting ignited to another level, and I was very much interested by this, and I felt that Mary, of course, was the catalyst to this. And so upon this, just a couple months of speaking, I knew that this would be an everlasting connection, and I found that our relationship, our closeness spans the universe. And upon that, it was just over. She became the godmother to my children. My wife loves her. It was just fantastic. So that's how we really got reconnected again. And it was only a little over a year ago, Mary, if you can believe that, in the physical. So upon that, what ended up transpiring after that is just a load of things. This is probably my fourth interview with her now. And thank you again for having me. And those other interviews, if you'd like to know a little bit, I'm just going to just touch upon some of the stuff that were in the other interviews. If you want it in depth, you can certainly search the archives at newsforthesoul.com, I believe. And one of those, so a lot of the stuff, for example, to some of the listeners who have not heard of any of my stories or my experiences, when I was very much younger, I just knew the system was very distorted. And I was not finding my place in it as well, but I'm a very quick learner. I was adopted, and these settings for me, I chose before I entered the body as part of my divine plan. Of course, when you're little and you have the veil of you're forgetting it, the experiences that you really had previous to this incarnation, or this new vessel that you've taken as part of the transmigration of the soul. So upon this, it was up to me to try to feel with my intuition. I was very intuitive and attempted to really go forth and remember why I'm here, and why things are so different to what I believe to be harmonious. So upon this exploration, there's just many things that have happened to me during that time. One of which was that two memorable times where I left my body. One of those times I may have been about 6 years old. And when I left my body at that time, I actually traveled to what we would call the future. Even though everything is existing in the now, it's the best way to describe it for most listeners. So when I traveled into the future, I actually traveled to a point where I actually was, it was the meeting point, you could say, and the reconnection of myself with my wife. And so that was a very fantastic experience, a very in-depth and long one, which I won't get into now. Suffice to say, my vision came true perfectly. And it was quite amazing to show me that what we've been taught and what we're learning in this world, the education that was being brought forth in the school systems and through your government and media agencies, was indeed incorrect, in my opinion. And there was so much more mystery and absolute brilliance to how things operate in the universe. So another example is I actually left my body again, which was a very vivid experience, more vivid than the experience of me traveling into what we call the future. In this experience, I left my body when I was married to my wife at an apartment in the city of Toronto. I floated up to the ceiling, looking down at my body and not really caring to get back in there, just caring to I was kind of gravitating towards what I was seeing out of the window in our bedroom in the sky, which was a very vast blue and vivid, unlike any color you've ever seen in this world. Very, very blue, rich color that was vibrant and alive. So I was getting magnetized. I was getting pulled towards it. Long story short, I went inside and it was a gateway portal. It wasn't an object in the sky. It shot me through this tunnel. I ended up exiting the other side, and I ended up getting to another planetary body in what, once I entered the actual atmosphere of that particular planet, was the Andromeda constellation. And that was a whole other experience that was absolutely fascinating. I've also had experiences with orbs coming around my room during research times in the late evening hours. One actually went around my computer, went into my left ear and came out the right ear. And it was it was the strangest feeling I've ever had. It felt like something was being pulled out of my ear. If you've ever seen those movies with ghosts, such as, I don't know, Ghostbuster or anything else to that extent, where you're watching the actors trying to convey the message that something is kind of pressurized in your head and pulling out of the other side. It's such a strange feeling, to say the least. However, I found that it was some sort of activation. Another experience is a time when I was by my bed and I had three little creatures wake me up in the middle of the night with my wife beside me and my two guard dogs. I had a Rottweiler and a pit bull, completely paralyzed, not barking or anything. Just little babies, I guess, because I treated them like little babies anyways. I was actually there to protect them more than they so me. When I looked to my left, I saw these little creatures there, and they must have been about 4 feet at the most. staring at me in the middle of the night. And they had some sort of energy ability to have me in a way paralyzed, but my eyes could see them and move around. Very fascinating experience, which we spoke about in a previous radio show. I also had an experience where I saw numerous flying craft and ships with witnesses there, in most cases family, like my wife, to also see these things. One of the strangest experiences I'd say is that, if those weren't strange enough, was that some of these ships, I'd just wake up at 3, 4 in the morning, look outside the window because I was always fascinated with the stars, and I'd see, just the beauty of everything in such a clear night sky, and then I'd want to see a ship at certain times, and all of a sudden an orb would just appear and in the sky and start doing these very strange maneuvers that I'd have to wake up my wife so she can verify and look for herself to see. Suffice to say, I always say that and reiterate that I don't do drugs, and I like to train and eat well. So my vision certainly was not impaired, etc. Also, other experiences that I've had, very amazing too, is I'd wake up in the house that I live at now. I actually live in the forest with my family, and I was sitting in the bed, and I saw, when I woke up, a lady, and she was actually in spirit form, and she was sitting by my bed in a very calm and nice position, almost deliberately, I sensed, extracting energy from me as I slept. Of course, when I realized what I was seeing, and I looked closely at her, and I got a very good look at her, she just faded away. Very interesting case there. Also, another interesting case was as an orb that I saw in the front yard of my house, and it was actually floating there. It looked as bright as the sun. This was a time when it was about midnight, and it was a new moon, so it was very, very dark out. So you'd be able to see anything, like even a firefly would be super bright, but this thing here was a huge ball of light just hovering. And this ball of light it felt like it was conscious to me, staring at me. And so again, I wanted to get the perspective of another. So I woke my wife up. Reluctantly, she woke up, and when she saw it, she couldn't get back to sleep because all the hairs were standing up on her. And she was just absolutely alarmed at this. And we were studying it. It was just kind of, if we both felt like it was looking at us. It was really, really bright. I wanted to videotape it. The moment I left to get it, my wife said the thing just took off. And it was floating at least 5 feet above the ground, maybe about 200 yards away from us. Fascinating. So these are just some of the stories that I have there, upon which I'm actually also a PSYCH-K facilitator. Took the basic, the advanced, and the masters last year around this time, actually. And I met some wonderful people at the workshops, and I found that the PSYCH-K people are absolutely great, rare commodities here, you could say, because one of the things I really kind of value is something rare in this world. It's called thinking for yourself, critical thinking. So you won't really find that too much nowadays. Of course, the listeners to this radio show, I'm sure, are very great critical thinkers. And so what it ended up doing was, after I took the workshops, it actually activated and opened up new pathways and things within me that allowed me to explore my older ways, actually. My older ways actually mean past lives, things. I was getting recalls, I was getting words and names and experiences in very quick flashes that were being downloaded to me. And upon this experience, I had no choice but to wish to explore it, because that's what I do. I'm the type that is kind of, I go against the grain. I could really care less what anyone else thinks if it doesn't kind of blend with their perception. I'm going to go forth and explore as objectively as I can. So I took the names down and tried to remember the experiences, which were vast. It was about 20 names that I was given. Explored these names and found that they were all indeed past lives. And I was given those names directly because they could be found in the history books of this world. So Consequently, I've actually taken a past life regression, and my most nearest life that I experienced here on this plane of existence was in the 70s. That's when I passed away last. I was actually born in the 30s, and so the past life regressionist that assisted me as a hypnotherapist with this particular past life, her name is Leslie Mitchell Clark, and she was really fantastic with this. We spent about an hour session just really delving into this and exploring these memories, of which she fully endorses. And consequently, this is going to be in a future book that actually deals with what I call the template of your personality of your soul or your spirit. So what I found is that each spirit and soul, however you wish to put it, has its own template personality or archetype. And some may even put it as a program. And of course, we are all one, let's not forget, with the divine source. So therefore, these personalities are, again, illusory. However, I've found that they can indeed, especially when we study the experience on this planet, find that these imprints are actually what actually comes out as your personality in each body that you take, regardless of your race or your culture. You will begin to act a certain way, do certain things, be attracted to certain things within each experience. And I'll speak for myself on this by saying, upon studying the lives that I've had that were given to me, I found this to be absolutely 100% correct. So, for instance, if you're a musician and you've done a lot of really, really beautiful songs, you really kind of explore that area, you're certainly going to do it again. So for those of you who don't know, my last experience here, I've mentioned this before, was as Elvis Presley. And in this experience here, I actually was pursuing at a very young age, 18, 19, a similar field. I was always very pulled towards music. Now, I went from Graceland to Grace Street, as I tell people, because I was actually raised on a street where I was adopted on, but at a family home here in Toronto, on a street known as Grace Street. My wife has the same birthday as my ex-wife in that life, and it goes on and on and on from there, just to understand how this works. Previously to that, I was also someone known as Mozart. So the music there, it really just is something that is within my template. And I really, really encourage others to explore this divinity within themselves, to, as Yeshua put it, Jesus, know thyself. Because for me, it's not about understanding who these people were as part of ego, some sort of ego trip, more than it was to extract the data found within each experience so that you can better oneself now and learn who you are, so you can cultivate your gifts at this, what we call present moment. And so it goes on and on from the experiences I've had there. Suffice to say, what got me into even looking at past lives was an experience I had as Saint Andrew, the first disciple of Jesus, Yeshua, of which Mary and I were, again, closely connected in that experience, because she was the lovely Mary Magdalene. And so the experiences that we've had here and the actions that we take in these lives, if you really study it, I found it fascinating to show and to see that no matter what frequency density we're in, we tend to do the same things and explore the same avenues as other bodily experiences and other frequencies and vibrations. So this to me was very exciting. And of course, I really explore this in depth in this book that we're currently writing. And it really kind of shot off there. Another thing I'm doing right now is actually, I really find it fascinating to help those who are earthbound. And I've been given a connection to allow me to help remove densities. I do a lot of energy work, as Mary mentioned at the beginning. And this energy work, I actually form energy programs with. These energy programs I create into specific packages. These packages are then used by myself to gift those who I seek to gift. It is done with my heart being and my love being sent out to all those who are willing to receive these packages and programs in our highest and best good, so that and to show that I'm not selfish and I'm here to assist others. And so that if I don't do things like this and other quote light workers do not do things like this, we will not be able to transcend to that other frequency and vibration that people seek, as we call a heaven on earth, which I do foresee as one of the pathways that are coming. So consequently, the energy work that I've been doing at this time involves helping and assisting the light workers. So the messages that I've been receiving is that one of my main duties here is to create programs using my creativity to assist others as best as I can to allow them to reach their fullest potential and to understand that they are receiving through me the power of the divine energy that can kind of supercharge them during this time, which is a very dark time, so that they can be successful. And so I just want the light workers out there to know that I'm one of the people here that's helping you, and I'm helping you every day. And so know that some of the energy that you are receiving is from those similar to myself who want to see us all succeed. And it is not easy. So some people say we've already won and the pathway is already set in stone. For me, I don't take that perspective. I see many pathways. And with those pathways, I see that I wish to magnetize to the one that is to my liking. And my liking is that we unite in our differences, but yet it's an illusory uniqueness. So therefore, in our oneness with divine as a very, very powerful force, consciousness that does not wish to be a part of the distortion any longer. As people have heard of the reptilians, those who do not or are not aware, I know they exist and I know they're interfering. I know there are very few, though, that people may be surprised. They're actually attempting to change and to join the light and realize that they're part of the one, as opposed to all the others who mostly very much are in the separate nature, thinking that they are not connected, not realizing their connectedness to the divine. And they're the ones that are bringing about this distortion through taking and really absorbing negative energy. They really live off of and feed off of the negative energy and the bloodshed that occurs in this world. And that's another long story. So suffice to say, all light workers need to hold the intention that we are one together and we will operate as a singularity consciousness. And we will use our strength to create such a powerful field that there will be no choice but to have everything shift out of this current low vibration. Another thing I'll say too is that I've also been assisting with the children of our world who are in light and in love. And that concept I can explain later on, because I've learned many things, many of which have changed my understandings slightly. And one of those things that I really mention here is that with the children of our world, some of the energy programs and packages that I've sent to them are really used to protect them from the distortion and these reptilian type forces that are interfering with us all, but especially with that of children. And so it is my duty and my honor to assist them where I can. And there's many other things I love to share, but I'd love to hear some of Mary's thoughts on this. And thank you again for listening.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Orion. Well, and then the biggest gift here is that each of us here are very unique, like you brought up. So we each have our own beautiful gifts and growth opportunities that we're meant to grow within ourselves and become here, and then to go live it in that way. So that I know for me, what I'm very passionate about is to help people with their new beginnings, to help people. I used to be a birth nurse. I help people birth their babies. So that's a beautiful beginning of a family, to have another new family member join them as a beautiful new baby here. And what's really great is I see a similarity with all the other light workers here. And that just means all the ones who volunteered to come and to ascend, you know, to connect fully with their divinity here, living as a human being, and to remember again that you are one with the divine God source energy, the Mother, Father, God source light, whatever that means for you, and then to begin to recognize that, you know, we have been programmed. If you recognize that whatever family culture you were raised in, and maybe even country you were raised in, whether you were a man or a woman, each of these all affect who we believe we are, and what our perception is of the world, and of people, and of situations. So I know my gifting here is to help people ignite that divinity within them again, to birth their true essence, to birth their the light and the love of who they truly are. And I know I've seen the magnificence even just from the connections that you and I have had. And I didn't know you before last year, but just even just from when we first had our first conversations of talking to where you are now, it's so beautiful. Your calmness, your centeredness, your remembrance, your knowingness, the flow of the unity love, which is just so beautiful. And I work with myself with it. So I was also born as a baby here on earth, just like everybody else. Then I will go one day too, where, you know, when my time is completed, when I've done what I agreed to do here. And I believe all of us are too. So I actually look forward to when people can wake up to that too, because there's so much fear, right? Especially now about dying, about catching this virus or whatever, you know, they're trying to keep dragging out. They're dragging us out for a year and a half now above this. And I so love and rejoice and celebrate with those that are waking up. So it's like, yay, whenever that moment is, woohoo, welcome aboard. Because we all have our own timing when we wake up. And I love it. I love it when the ones get the aha moment and they start seeing, like you say, the illusions. They start seeing the distortions. They start recognizing the things they're being told through media or through the school system, or even the people that they love and know, that that might not be their own truth. It's just what people are telling them to believe. So I would love, especially in this talk today, and then actually every waking moment I have when I'm with anyone, is to help unconsciously love and accept everyone right where they are, and then also believing and being able to see in each one your full divinity, who you really are, and let that ignite a bit brighter. Yes, let that, all right, step in and say, yes, you know what, we are way more than we're imagining that we are. And it's time to stand in our truth, stand in our power, stand into what is important for each one of us, you know. And these are important questions to ask yourself. You know, what is important to me? You know, what do I believe? Am I running from fear? Am I reacting because of fear? Or am I doing things because of my knowingness or because of my truth? We call it love. It's your love energy, your wholeness energy, that unity energy, and begin to feel it. So I think everyone, boy, so much is coming up right now. I know October, this is a very, even astrologically, a lot is happening, even with our beautiful planets and sun and moon, so that the truth is being disclosed, you know, as far as what really might be going on, and then what we get to do about it. So that's the gift here, is that we always can turn into a new way, and remember who we are. There's the act of forgiveness and acceptance, and reuniting within ourselves and with others. And we can change anything, and we can shift in a new way at any moment. And so I know I've been working with that with myself, just bringing in the kindness, you know, more of that kindness, more of that gentleness, it's that gentler energy, while I stand in my strong energy. So it's like working with my masculine and feminine in unity, so that I work within myself well, and then every interaction that I have with others, it's like we're in a schooling here, right? Every interaction is going to give us an opportunity. And if it doesn't go so well, right, that's okay, because it's going to be like, oh man, that didn't go so well. So then, you know, all right, how do I want things to be in my new way now, and be able to, you know, wake up. It's bringing something up. So being real, I think this is one of the biggest gifts that I can offer people, is allow yourself permission to be real and let yourself feel everything. Most of us have blocked our emotions. I know I sure did growing up. I was taught that. And so it's so beautiful that I'm feeling everything now. Some of it's not so good because you're like, what the heck, when different information comes out or situations come out. And I've been able to cultivate, and this is what I love to share, the gift with PSYCH-K has helped me the most with, is that I am able to stand in the energy of the love, in the oneness and direct connection with my divinity and source energy, and then also feel everything I'm meant to feel as a human being. So I can feel sadness alongside my love, or anger alongside my love. So it's interesting how you can actually feel different emotions all at the same time, which is quite fascinating, actually. So we no longer have to live in a polarity world where you're just pulled into a dense energy and you're stuck there forever or a long time. Allow yourself to feel everything. Everything's purposeful, and use that energy of whatever you're feeling to then ask you a couple key questions, because it really is in the discovery of asking those questions that we get to become new in a new way. So how do I want to be, or what didn't I like about that, or what opportunity is this offering me? Those are the big questions I ask myself. So what is this here for? Okay, this showed up. What's this offering me right now? Right. So if there is a block or a hold up or a stall, or things aren't going the way that you would like it to go, maybe it is, offering you something. I have a dear friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially like, at least in America, and I'm sure it's across the world too, the whole mandation of the vaccine, of the COVID jab that's being perpetuated in the business world, where people are losing their jobs over it, right? So I do write religious exemptions for people, so I do help with that. But there's even a friend of mine who works at the same hospital that I used to work at, that they're even denying, it's a Catholic hospital, and they're denying religious exemptions. So talk about a distortion, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
This
To me,
makes no sense.
In my perception, this is all a sign of the dark force. It is unequivocal to me, through my eyes and my perception, that people are being coerced to do this, and it is a point of fact that they're being coerced. They must understand that their bodies are allodial, and most people have forgotten that. So most people need to look up the term allodial and understand that applies to your body. Don't ever forget that. And a lot of the things that are now occurring because of it is because people are really forgetting the divine beings that they are, and allowing others to think on their behalf. I always share with people, I was very into the study of words whenever I get the opportunity to look up the etymology of words. And I always refer to just the first most basic term, as I've talked with politicians on time and time that I've encountered, do not even know what the word government means. They work for the government, etc. They're part of the government, but they don't know what it means necessarily. So with the word government, for instance, govern means to control, and ment comes from the Latin word mente, meaning the mind. So I share that with them and say, well, the word government means to control the mind, or mind control. Did you know that? Were you aware of that? And these people simply get red-faced and say, well, no, I didn't, and just kind of want to exit the conversation at that, because it's not like something I'm trying to impose upon the word government. That actually is what it means. And each term I then began to find out actually is a spell. And one can even then examine whether or not these spell, a whole other issue and story, but very fantastic subject matter to discuss. Especially since most of this has been disseminated by Hollywood. And Hollywood in itself, again, very old Druidic concept. This is why the Druids used to use wands, magic wands, and why the magic wand actually was made out of the wood of a holly tree. And it's very, very fascinating, especially the way they use these terms to create themes such as maritime admiralty law, and how they've applied this to each individual through the birth certificate. So such fascinating things that actually have been installed in this world. And of course, now those themes are coming to an end, and the pathway that they seek is a new pathway of what we will term a type of, or what I would term a type of communist tyrannical dictatorship. That people, it's essentially, they've been building the bricks to their own prison for many, many years. And apparently, though, through my studies of helping spirits transcend this world and understand why they're even stuck earthbound, I've found that a lot of spirits actually have to go through a cleansing of karma to go through. I know it may be difficult for other people to recognize this. It certainly was for, yes, indeed, a lot of terrible things that have happened to people were actually things that they signed up for when they've come to this world. And so for me, of course, if I see something terrible going on, I'm going to stand. However, indeed, some people have chosen some very dual growth. And so that's something that I had to learn to respect. May not like, but have to respect it. I also do a lot of work with Archangel Michael right now too. And there's a lot of things that I just want to share first. This is just coming through me, is that a lot of the, just like we just mentioned about the light workers, I also want to mention to those here on the planet, for those of you who are unaware, there are a few on this planet, actually the largest number that I've been told has been on the planet, but there are a number of angels on the planet now. And I want them all to know that we are here, we need to stick together, and we need to come together too, in similar ways to the light workers, even if we're not physically around each other, just through intention, to create a unity between our energy fields so that we can further impose our vibration upon the distortion that is creating such chaos and destruction, so that we can shift to the pathway that is resonating again with what people may deem a heaven on earth, New Eden scenario. Otherwise, of course, people will get the same old. One of the visions I've been having, well, there's a few visions, but suffice to say, I'll just kind of go back here a little bit. And in about 2011, I had a vision of 2020. And I shared this vision with friends and family and told them that I was living in the city at the time. And I said, I got to get out to the country, to the forest regions. My wife and I would like to have children out there because of the visions that I was having. I see many pathways. I don't see one distinct. I know some individuals on the planet have the ability to extract the one pathway and vision for a person's life, maybe even the direction of the planet. For me, I see multiple visions, and maybe that's for a type of hope that I may have as an illusion. I do not know, but I see a few different pathways. So as of 2011, I saw this pathway in 2020 of a change of the world occurring. And I told and informed people, I'm not here to alarm in any way, just inform people of these visions because it may help to assist others. I've done this throughout time. So if you can recall any that have done this in history, then it just may have well been me. I won't go into naming anything, but you can use your intuition and extract that information for yourself. However, I saw that the time would come where there would be a virus coming out of what people would term China. I thought at the time it would be a type of bird flu in 2011. So that's what I was telling people to look out for, but it would be a pandemic. The second thing I saw around the years of 2022, and again, this is just a generalized thing. I don't give dates. I look for signs and symbols. So for these numbers to be coming in is inconsequential. I'm just giving you the information that came through to me. So the signs and symbols must be looked at. So of course, when we hit 2020, we saw the signs and symbols. There was indeed a pandemic. There was indeed something that came out of China in one way or another. And anyone else can deduce what is taking place as part of a structure in terms of their own thoughts and opinions. And what I saw around after that, shortly after, I saw an attempt at a world war, which they would term World War III. These are just terms that they throw around and use as part of predictive programming and mind control. And so, because they know that if they capture your imagination, you will then begin to be magnetized to the pathways of their creation. No different than Disney tells you that their whole, one of their premises is to capture your imagination. Well, I'm very happy with my own imagination. Thank you very much. And I'll be using it as I see fit. And I hope others do the same. However, one of the pathways was for their world war, and it was amongst people. They always try to create the enemies. I have no enemies. I'm well aware that other people consider me an enemy to them. That's I can't control that. However, they were going to use enemies that they created, such as Iran and China and whoever else, so that they can pit them against your allies, etc., and have you form a divisiveness amongst your fellow species, of which is ridiculous if you understand that you are all one. So to hurt another is to hurt oneself. So obviously, by that perspective, you'd want to assist another because you'd be assisting yourself. So anyways, that's the first scenario I saw after a shift in 2020. It's a type of world war, which they're stirring up tension for now, and it's very sad. But we will hold our vibration as best as we can. It's certainly not an easy time. But another thing that's been coming to me too is the possibility of an alien invasion scenario, which has been discussed. And I actually do see that as a possibility of a pathway, because it creates a type of false unity that is controllable to the powers that be. So that alien invasion scenario, again, may sound scary, or maybe something that you can pretty much see through the programming, because they tend to put many things in your movies and insert it as part of predictive programming and mind control techniques. So if that scenario was to happen, I'm only sharing these particular pathways so that you just know, what would you do in those circumstances? How would you react in a positive way? How would you hold your vibration? What would you need to do to make sure that your family, and I mean your spirit and soul family most in particular, because those are the most important family members you have, are still strong and can remain in that frequency of light and love, the highest vibration. Most people don't know. A lot of these elite people don't know. They're all in it for power, but they're forgetting that the greatest power is that of love. And one day they will figure this out. Some will not. But these are the things that will help us pass these transitions, as I like to call it. There is no end of the world. We're in the end of the age, of course. People term it, a lot of different cultures have termed it many different things. But what we will do is, again, understand that this is just the transition. And even though it may be hard, we will continue to persevere, and we will be successful. So these are the visions that I've had. Now, the other pathway that I've seen, which is my favorite one, is of course the one where none of that happens, and we quickly transition into that type of world which is more harmonious and in balance, without the interference or the culling of the population. Because certainly we don't want to see that type of transmutation occur. So those are the things that I've noticed there. I've been told, actually, on a different note, during some of my help with spirit, is that one of the I've helped those that were earthbound, and help them transition into the white light. I can help to open a type of white light for these ones that are kind of stuck in that are what we call earthbound. I've helped the likes of Michael Jackson, David Bowie, and one in particular, Andre the Giant. And in that, he actually, they all provide me with really beautiful energy, and they're very thankful and give me a lot of good information. His information was quite profound in that, and Mary can vouch for this, because Mary has actually been there as my very valuable team member in this whole process. We just learned together. It's just such a fascinating experience down this rabbit hole of wonder. So what he shared was that the light that I'm helping to open, the ones that can go into that one actually are able to bypass a type of tech planet. I was unaware of this, where there's a type of false light, and this false white light that people are going into actually causes them to be recycled right back on this planet, and to be reincarnated very rapidly without being redirected back to their source energy, to realize their true divinity and connection with source and the oneness that we are all from. So they simply get recycled back in, and I was unaware of this. The technology many have postulated as to where this is emanating from and how it works. Again, that's a long topic and subject matter of which I do not have complete clarity on that. But I do know that what he said is that once you travel into this light, the one that myself and others can open, you get reconnected back to the source. You kind of get upgraded very quickly and rapidly with your true self. Absolutely beautiful. And then of course, being reconnected with source allows you to have that remembrance and of who you are, the power you possess, the memories you've previously had, and then you can make very beautiful choices about your next steps in your spiritual evolution. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Orion. And you did want to offer, so we have about 10 more minutes on the show. And one thing I definitely want to say is to remind people that we always have a choice. So that's the biggest message. Wherever, if ever you do feel stuck or you do feel, frustrated or blocked, is that you always have a choice, and let your heart lead you. Let yourself start feeling, what is your body telling you? What is your spirit guiding you to? If you can kind of recognize, you may not even be able to explain it, but it's just this nudge you might have within you. So even hearing today about PSYCH-K might be that gentle nudge to come learn it. We'll talk about that at the end of the show if people want to come to the workshop or even have a private session to help assist them. But there's so much support here. There's so much support here, and it's time for us to unite and connect. And a lot of this is about clearing that density, right? To remove those programs that no longer serve us anymore, and to really remember who we really are. So if you'd like to offer an energy package for all those listeners today, and it would be for their highest and best good, right? Obviously, and they'll receive whatever they're ready for, but that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. So for all those who are,
thank you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So for all those who are listening, just kind of get into a nice relaxed position, seated. You can certainly stand, and just take a couple of deep breaths. In through your nose, inhale, pause for as long as you can, that's comfortable, and then release from your mouth. Do a few of those, and as you're doing it, see what you experience as I send these energy programs to you. There will be two. One will be a healing package, and another shall be a strengthening one. There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was beautiful. I received it, so thank you. My spine got straighter, so it's like, the strengthening one especially was like really,
beautiful.
Very, very
I'm happy.
Beautiful. Yeah, very.
It's my
beautiful.
pleasure to do that.
Yeah, I feel like it was a beautiful cleansing, of really more of a flow. So thank you so much. Well, that was beautiful.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, and thank you for continuing to do that for each one of us. And I definitely would love to bring that. I know many times, many of us will feel those alone times, or feel like nobody understands, or you feel like, wow, I'm not right. Why aren't my friends and family that I live with or connect with understanding, what I'm going through? And, if that's the case, then it's time to help yourself go within, because when you are alone, you're actually all one. The same word is all one. So allow yourself to be one with your divinity, and then bringing and offering for your spiritual guides to support you. So start connecting, asking and reaching out for help with the archangels, like Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael and Archangel Metatron, Uriel, Camuel. There's so many, absolutely beautiful, and the Ascended Masters, and whoever you feel called to. Is we're meant to ask for their help and support, and to call on them, command it, and they are always right here. They're available. They just can't influence our free will choice. So it's our free will choice to request their assistance, as I call it. So I definitely connect with many beautiful archangels and ascended masters and in my spiritual team so that I know that, right, we're never doing this alone here at all. It just might appear that way or look like it or feel like that sometimes. And that's a great way to wake up and remember, right, that we do these, we're here making these changes together, and we share our unique gifts, and we share what we can do. And the one big, most important thing is to move forward into letting your focus is where all of your energy goes. So what are you focusing on? Are you focused on the things you don't like, or the things that you're upset about, or you're angry about, or you're mad about, right? Or the things that aren't working for you? Well, you're going to keep creating more of that. And so that's the big aha moment, to just say, okay, yep, that's here, absolutely. And allow yourself to step into your power and stand up. How do I want it to be in my new way here? And that's creating our new world. And the key is then let yourself feel that new way of how you choose to be instead. And feeling that right, that strength, that love, that connection. Find what it is that's important for you to be able to feel, to then go speak the words from that same frequency, and to move and put into action those feelings, put into action those thoughts. Because all of it is a reflection of our beliefs at a subconscious level of the mind. And and we can work with our thoughts and our emotions to help us in that gateway. And then the key is, like we say, is circle it all the way back around to the beginning, to the beginning parts of us, and that's our belief. So I know that's what I would love to have us bring in for this last little bit here is, how can people reach out to you if they would so choose, Orion, in case
Sure.
they'd like to, right? Yeah, connect with
if
you.
there's any questions or connections you want to make, especially to the people that the groups that we really mentioned today, Centaurus 2020 at protonmail.com. So Centaurus 2020 at protonmail.com. CENTAURUS 2020 at protonmail.com. Reach out to me there. Send questions if you like, or anything else you'd like, and I'd certainly get back to you in a timely fashion, and I appreciate it. And really, if there's a lot of, if you're also looking into doing something such as PSYCH-K, I really kind of reach out to Mary. She's a go-to one for me, where she's got a lot of gifts that really kind of beautifully do well with PSYCH-K and kind of enhance the power of PSYCH-K, in my opinion. So at this time is the best time to kind of get that balance. If there's any struggles you're going through, changes you wish to make, if you want to rid yourself of the limiting beliefs, turn them into self-supporting ones. Beautiful approach at this point in time. The stuff that I'm working on, I've been told that the divine has sent through me the most powerful energy this world has ever seen. This is a bit of a teaser for what's coming in the future, which I won't really mention anything other than that. But to suffice to say, we're working hard here for the benefit of us all. And so we will continue to do so and continue to cultivate our particular gifts for the benefit of ourselves, our family, and of course, the greater population.
Beautiful. Thank you, Orion. Yes, if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can go to my website, Ignite and Heal Your Life, LIFE.com. So that's Ignite, IGNITE, and AND, Heal, ATAL, Your, YOUR, Life, LIFE.com. I am teaching a workshop next weekend in Louisville, Kentucky, a PSYCH-K basic workshop. So you can register for that if you get the nudge and you're ready to come. A lot of people come last minute, and it's really magical, actually. I'm also offering an online workshop. So we're beginning to actually offer it online. So it will be in the Eastern time zone, but anyone around that time, it'll be 9 a.m. Eastern time it begins. But people that want to get up a little earlier or later in the day, you're also welcome. And that's in November. That's on my website. And then December, I'll be in California, Berkeley, California. And then continuing to gift. And we're here. We're here to help ignite you. And it's time. The world needs your gifts. The world needs your gifts. Yeah.
And for those of you who are brave enough to take Mary up on her offer of being ignited, I tried that, and boy, was I ever burning like a wildfire. This is just the beginning. So be careful what you wish for.
And it's always worth it, right? Yeah, absolutely. And anyone that wants private sessions, right, we can do private sessions. Go on my website for that. I can work privately with you one-on-one. And there's also the psych-k.com if you're international listening to this, because there's PSYCH-K instructors across the world. We want you to go where whoever you're called to work with and connect with. This is all a gift, and it's time for us to receive it. So thank you again, Orion. What a joy to connect with you again and let the world hear what's from your heart and how you're serving this world so beautifully. And I'm so grateful for you, your family, and all the love that you share and offer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the
Beautiful
experience,
day.
Mary. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.